In just minutes, that second impeachment trial for former President Trump will be getting underway.
After an angry mob of pro-Trump insurrectionists stormed the Capitol last month, Democrats today are looking to hold Trump accountable, but his defense is arguing the trial is unconstitutional. We start our coverage with D.C. Bureau Chief Ross Palumbo.
He's live for us on Capitol Hill ahead of this historic trial. Ross.
Well, Christy and Janice, this is historic for two reasons. First of all, Donald Trump is the first president to be impeached twice, and he will be the first president to be tried for impeachment while out of office. And the trial starting here on the Hill in less than an hour.
Here in the very chamber rioters stormed and desecrated more than a month ago, the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump will unfold.
As a constitutional structural judgment, that's something that should be reserved to the people.
Day one will again focus on the constitutionality of impeachment.
This is probably an unresolvable question. It's never happened before. We don't know. There's not enough specifics in the Constitution, I think, to resolve the question one way or another.
We are putting our very democracy on trial.
House Democrats confident and prepared to prosecute the former president, using video after video.
There's a million of us out there, and we are listening to Trump, your boss.
And pointing to at least a dozen who now say they were there at Trump's direction.
I thought I was following my president.
There's no January exception to making sure that a president abides by the Constitution and does not turn an angry mob on his own government.
The video of Trump turning the mob is what they will first focus on.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
But Trump's defense team is saying that was political speech protected by the First Amendment, and that of the over 10,000 words spoken, Mr. Trump used the word fight a little more than a handful of times. In reality, Trump used the word fight at least 16 times in his speech before the riot.
Fight, 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 fighting, the fight, fighting. I'd fight, so I'd fight, they'd fight, I'd fight, they'd fight, fighting. We fight like hell.
House managers now saying he has no valid excuse or defense for his actions, and his efforts to escape accountability are entirely unavailing.
All parties have agreed to a structure that will ensure a fair and honest Senate impeachment trial of the former president.
All sides have now agreed to rules governing the trial. Each side will have 16 hours over 2 days to present their case.
It preserves due process and the rights of both sides.
In the Senate, a growing number of Republicans now rallying behind Trump. But Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of the handful of House Republicans who voted to impeach the former president, now urging members of his own party to also take a stand in the Senate.
I do think the impeachment has an impact, whether he's convicted or not.
Well, again, here on the Hill, this historic trial about to get underway in less than an hour at 1 p.m. today. And the first order of business really is going to once again be debate over whether this impeachment is constitutional. And Christy and Janice, you'll remember 2 weeks ago today, the Senate did take this up at the urging of Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky. Only 5 Republicans voted with Democrats to say that this impeachment was constitutional. That's a good barometer of what we might see when it comes to ultimately voting to convict or exonerate Donald Trump. Democrats need 17 Republicans to join with them.
And Ross, as you're there on Capitol Hill right now, you obviously were there on January 6th during this siege on the Capitol, but talk to us today about the security measures that you're seeing around the Capitol.
Well, Janice, I can tell you security around the Capitol since January 6th has been extremely tight. And once again today, we are seeing that security has been beefed up. There are troops surrounding the Capitol complex. There is fencing that is over 8 feet high, unscalable, they say, wrapped in barbed wire. So this building and this campus seems very secure, at least at this point. I can tell you on January 6th, when I was coming out of the train station very near here where many people park, I was walking through that area with protester after protester, and we knew something was coming. But today, I can tell you, I haven't seen a single protester, at least not yet.
And a quick question about Mr. Trump himself, Ross. I've heard reports that he is less concerned about this impeachment process and more concerned about those Republicans he feels are not supporting him enough, especially the 5 who voted for this process to continue. What are you hearing from that camp?
Well, that's right, Christy. You know, sources are telling me that the president is eager to move beyond this, that he's already focusing on getting out there on the speaking trail to campaign against people like Liz Cheney. He's being advised, I'm hearing from sources, by Ivanka and Jared Kushner not to mess this up, though. They are saying that the president should not be speaking out during this impeachment trial because even though the conventional wisdom is that he will be exonerated once again, that's what the current math at least looks like, there is the chance that the president could do or say something to change some minds. So the president down there at Mar-a-Lago, he's being advised by Ivanka and Jared to keep quiet during this, and sources also telling me that the president is really just anxious to move forward and get this trial behind him.
All right, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Our Ross Palumbo reporting live for us on Capitol Hill. And stay with Local 10 for continuing coverage of Trump's impeachment trial. Our DC Bureau Chief will have more live reports from Washington all throughout the day.